Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the City of Bayonne regular meeting of the Planning Board for the month of July. At this time, I'd like to call the meeting to order. Can we have a roll call, please?
One second.
Sure, thank you.
Chairperson Fiamonte.
Here?
Vice Chair Velardo.
Here.
Commissioner Salama. Here. Commissioner Rhodes.
Here.
Commissioner O'Connor.
Here.
Commissioner Locke. Here. Commissioner Beebe.
Here.
Absent is Commissioner Lubach. We have a quorum.
Okay, all rise for the pledge. Next on the agenda, we have the statement with regard to the Open Public Meetings Act, Sunshine Law. This regular meeting of the City of Bayonne Planning Board has complied with the Open Public Meetings Act, Sunshine Law. Annual notices of the schedule of regular meetings were published in both the Jersey Journal and Star Ledger newspaper. The schedule of regular meetings for the calendar year 2026 is filed with the City Clerk's office. Copy of the agenda of tonight's meeting is posted on the bulletin board in the lobby of the municipal building and on the City of Bayonne website. Next on the agenda, I know it does read adoption of minutes. Do we have?
We do not have minutes this evening.
That's what I thought. Next, before we move to communications, I do believe we have some housekeeping items.
We do have some housekeeping items. I think that we need to fill the position of secretary for the board. I've been functioning in that position for quite some time, and I think the board should entertain having somebody else take over that position.
I would like to nominate Michael O'Connor for that position.
Second.
And on the vote?
Chairperson Fiamonte.
Aye.
Vice Chair Velardo.
Aye.
Commissioner Salama.
Aye.
Commissioner Rhodes.
Aye.
Commissioner O'Connor.
Aye.
Commissioner Locke.
Aye.
Commissioner Beebe. Aye. We have a secretary.
Thank you, and thank you, Mr. O'Connor. And I'd just like to take a moment to welcome all of our new commissioners, so thank you for joining. We appreciate your support and look forward to working with you. And now I think we're on to our communications.
First is the Zoning Board of Adjustment Annual Report for calendar year 2025. Normally what we do is we vote to adopt that communication as part of the Planning Board's record. So can I get a motion and a second to accept the annual report from the Zoning Board of Adjustment for 2025?
I'll move.
I'll second.
And on the vote?
Chairperson Fiamonte.
Aye.
Commissioner Velardo.
Aye.
Commissioner Salama.
Aye.
Commissioner Rhodes.
Aye.
Commissioner O'Connor.
Aye.
Commissioner Locke. Commissioner Beebe. Next, we have a letter from the law offices of Cecchini Law Group dated June 11, 2026, requesting that application P25-023 Emerald Valley Holdings, LLC, Site 261 Broadway in City Block 272, lots 22 and 23, be withdrawn. There is no need for action by the board at this time.
So noted. Thank you.
You're welcome. Also, we have communications from Commissioners Ben Costanza and Caitlin Scheibel submitting their resignations to the Planning Board dated June 23, 2026, and June 26, 2026, effective immediately. Also, no action required on the part of the board.
So noted.
Next, we have communications from Mr. Reichel dated June 8, 2026, for interim use number 3, updated at Block 751, lots 1.06, 1.07, 1.10, for commercial truck parking at the for UPS. Mr. Reichel, would you like to describe for the board what that is?
Thank you, everybody. Yeah, so out at the Peninsula at Bayonne Harbor, there's a large vacant property that's bound by Chosen Few, which is the north-south road, and Port Terminal Boulevard, which is east-west. And for the last couple of years, that's been leased to UPS as they ramp up and fit out their operations. And they're asking to continue that use. The Peninsula Bayonne Harbor, or the Harbor Station South, right? There's a couple districts in the Peninsula Bayonne Harbor. The Harbor Station South redevelopment plan allows for interim uses, provided that they don't negatively impact the redevelopment activities of the property. And it's my determination that that use would meet that threshold.
Thank you, Mr. Reichel. We'll need a motion.
We need a motion and a second to approve that.
Okay, I'll move.
I'll second.
And on the vote, Chairperson Fiamonte,
Aye.
Commissioner Velardo,
Aye.
Commissioner Salama,
Aye.
Commissioner Rhodes,
Aye.
Commissioner O'Connor,
Aye.
Commissioner Locke, Commissioner Beebe. It's been approved. Next on the agenda is communication from Mr. Reichel and Suzanne Mack dated June 2nd, 2026 for interim use number 5 on Block 751, lots 1.13, 1.14, and 1.16 for a beer garden. Mr. Reichel.
Thank you. Same property. This property is, to orient you, is immediately adjacent to the existing firehouse on Chosen Few Way. The city has entered into a license agreement with one of the redevelopers for Harbor Station South to have an interim use that is a seasonal beer garden with, it's principally temporary improvements, but one fixed improvement, which would be a permanent restroom facility that would ultimately be used for a park, because this proposed interim use lies within a parcel that's designated for a future public park. There are a number of conditions on my recommendation that include screening and adequate parking, and if that parking were exceeded, to provide valet, as well as that the applicant would pay for any required traffic control on Chosen Few Way.
If the board is inclined, we can make a motion and a second to approve that.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
And on the vote?
Chairperson Fiamonte,
Aye.
Vice Chair Velardo,
Aye.
Commissioner Salama,
Aye.
Commissioner Rhodes,
Aye.
Commissioner O'Connor,
Aye.
Commissioner Locke,
No.
Commissioner Beebe.
Aye.
It's been approved. Next on the agenda is a letter from Michael Maselli dated March 30th, 2026, requesting an extension of P22-032 QOZ Prospect Property Urban Renewal, Site 33 Prospect Avenue in City Block 455, Lot 1.01. Rather than read the entire letter into the record, I would request that counsel from Mr. Maselli's office approach the podium and explain to the board what the applicant is looking for on this one and the reason for this relief, or I shouldn't say relief, but extension of zoning protection of time to commence construction. And your name for the record.
Thank you. My name is Danielle Kimback from the law firm of Prime Tavel Maselli on behalf of the applicant QOZ Prospect Property Urban Renewal LLC. The applicant received an approval in 2023 for a 6-story building consisting of 85 residential units. That board previously granted a 1-year extension through April 11th, 2026. While we were working through resolution compliance, it was discovered that the city's sewer main was located outside the designated easement area. So we had to work through that conflict with the city without disrupting the sewer main, and that required amended agreements. It required new ordinances applicable to the project. So we've been held up due to government process and government approvals that are required for the project. We are still working through resolution compliance as diligently as we can. We're close to scheduling a pre-construction meeting. We're also waiting for the city to execute the TWA, which was submitted, I think about 2 years ago, but as we were working through the other issues, it just hasn't come up for execution yet. The MLUL provides that if we're delayed due to a required government approval, the board shall grant an extension. So we're seeking an extension through April 13th, 2027.
Board members, any questions?
Is this for final approval or preliminary, final site plan approval or preliminary site plan approval?
We received preliminary and final in 2023.
And what is the permit specifically that you're referencing, that you're saying it requires the extension to be granted?
Well, our TWA hasn't been executed by the city. Additionally, the amended redevelopment agreement that was required in part because of the sewer main that was located outside the designated easement area was only executed in June.
I don't have any other questions, other than, you mentioned redevelopment plan, so is that, are you saying that the MLUL requires an extension in the instance that a redevelopment agreement isn't approved? Or
Not in the instance of a redevelopment agreement, but a government approval that has been held up by no fault of the
Oh,
applicant.
but you mentioned a redevelopment agreement, right?
There is also a redevelopment agreement in place, and it had to be amended in part because the force main was located outside the designated easement area. So that necessitated some other revisions to the project that we had to work through with the city.
Okay, and you were unable to work through them with the city and work through them prior to this meeting?
No, we have worked through them. There is an amended redevelopment agreement that was just executed in June. And we're still waiting for the TWA to be executed, and we are working to schedule a pre-construction meeting. Additionally, the construction schedule is also governed by a schedule in the redevelopment agreement, which that provides for the applicant or the redeveloper to commence construction within 2 years of the effective date of the amended financial agreement. Which I don't have the actual effective date yet, but it was sometime after June 5th, 2026.
Okay. I mean, it would seem to me that it'd be appropriate to sit down with the city and resolve those issues with the redevelopment agreement and all those matters, and I'm sure the city's open to do that, and then come back to the planning board for the extension.
No, we have. The amended redevelopment agreement was finalized in June and signed by the redeveloper.
So I don't know if anyone else has any questions, but I'd like to make a motion on this.
Let's see if there's any questions first.
Yeah. Do any
Before
other
we make any
commissioners have
motion.
questions?
No, the answer, everything's been answered.
Okay, thank you.
So I understand that, what the applicant has said, but, the city is in a transition situation now. New planning board members here, new administration. I know you're talking about a redevelopment agreement amendment, which was recently done just a few weeks ago. I'm inclined to ask the board to table any action on this and have you go in and, interact with the new administration and discuss the issues, and then come back to us sometime in the future, maybe revisit this at the August meeting to consider granting the extension.
I would be agreeable to that. I don't know, commissioners, any other
I'll
commissioners?
second that.
Hold on one second, because you said two things, Mr. O'Connor. Do you want to carry this to the August meeting, or do you want to table?
I believe tabling.
I believe table was,
I think I meant table it, yeah.
Okay. So the motion would be to table this matter until further discussions between the parties, and then the applicant can come back to the board at that point.
okay, yes. And I believe there was a second.
Yes,
by-
I'll second that.
And on the vote.
On the vote, Chairperson Fiamonte,
Aye.
Commissioner Velardo,
Aye.
Commissioner Salama,
Aye.
Commissioner Rhodes,
Aye.
Commissioner O'Connor.
And thank you. Thank you for, providing more information. I'm sure you'll be able to work it out with the administration and come back here shortly and get the extension you're seeking.
May I finish the vote? Sorry. Commissioner Locke, Commissioner Beebe.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you.
Why don't you stay there, because the next item on the communications is from your office, and it relates to P21-019 AMS Equities LLC. Site is 132, 140, 154, 157-163 Avenue E in City Block 234, Lot 8.01, Block 467, Lot 23, Block 458, Lots 1.02 and 1.03. Can you describe the relief or the extension that the applicant is looking for on the site?
Certainly. Again, for the record, Danielle Kimbeck from Prime Tavella Maselli on behalf of the applicant, AMS Equities LLC. Here, applicant received preliminary and final site plan approval in September 2022. This is for a 286 unit mixed-use project. It spans 3 buildings, I believe, on 2 sides of the street, so there is some intricate phasing involved in the project. The board previously granted an extension through September 13th, 2025. We're requesting an extension under Section 52E of the MLUL, which permits extensions for a number of reasons, including the number of dwelling units, the economic conditions, and the comprehensiveness of the development. I referenced it's 286 units. It is a phased project in 3 separate buildings. In addition to the general economic market, which the applicant is working through, they're actively seeking financing and partners for this project. A big component is there's a union labor contract, so the union can construct the project, which benefits the city and its union workers in the city. However, that also increases some of the costs, but you know, they believe the project's viable, and they're just working through the economic conditions and the complexity of the project. So we did request an additional 3 years. We look for August 2028.
My suggestion would be to follow suit with the previous communication. I don't know how the other commissioners feel.
I would be in agreement with that.
As well.
Okay.
Myself as well.
So I'll make a motion to table.
Okay?
I'll second.
And on the vote, Chairperson Fiamonte,
Aye.
Commissioner Velardo,
Aye.
Commissioner Salama,
Aye.
Commissioner Rhodes,
Aye.
Commissioner O'Connor,
Aye.
Commissioner Locke, Commissioner Beebe.
Aye.
Okay, thank you.
We're going to carry that matter until further notice.
Table
Yes.
it. Mhm.
Thank
Okay,
you.
Thank you. We have one more item on communications.
We do, and I see somebody from Mr. Posada approaching the podium right now. That's number 8 on our communications, and that's a letter from Mr. Posada's office dated June 10th, 2026, requesting an extension for P22-033 Bayonne Luxury Waterwalk LLC, Site 219 West 5th Street in City Block 301.01, Lot 1.01.
Good evening, Adam Fiala from Sills, Compass & Gross on behalf of the applicant, Bayonne Luxury Waterwalk LLC. This project, just to refresh the board's recollection, was granted preliminary and final major site plan approval for a 6-story, 180-unit project. The board has already granted 2 extensions for this, and we're asking for a 3rd extension to extend the vested rights and the requirement to commence construction to June 13th, 2027. The applicant has been going through resolution compliance. They've submitted 4 footings and foundation permits. Actually, May of 2025, I believe we submitted. We've been going through the process of, we've had 2 pre-construction meetings. We've been going through the resolution compliance, and we've been communicating with Mr. Reichel, and we've been knocking off every single item that we can, and we have one last remaining item to get Viola Water and Sewer approval before we can get zoning approval and have the permits go to the building department. So our client's eager to start construction, but we're just going through the process of resolution compliance, and it's an outside agency approval that's holding us up. We've gotten Soil Conservation District approval, a DEP approval, submitted performance bonds, maintenance bonds, paid all outstanding escrows and taxes and the such. So we're asking for a 1-year extension to just finish up resolution compliance. Well, we've actually been deemed to finish resolution compliance, but finish up what's needed as a precondition for a footings and foundation permit.
Commissioners, any questions? Any thoughts?
I'm sorry, when does this, when are you seeking extension for? When does this site plan approval expire?
The vested rights expired on June 13th, 2026, and we're seeking 1 year for June 13th, 2027. It would be our third and final 1-year extension.
Okay. You know, again, you know, we're going to have a meeting in August, and I think you referenced you're working diligently through those issues. I think engagement with the new administration would be appropriate and helpful. You were here earlier, you heard the discussions about the other projects. Yours seems to be further along from what you say, but I think it's important to engage with the new administration, and certainly I wouldn't have a problem with you coming back and entertaining an extension once that's done, and the things that you say and whatever else needs to be done to get a full picture of where the project is and moving forward. So, but
Are you making a motion to table?
I'm making a motion. I'm going to make a motion that we table this, this
I'll second.
request also.
Okay. And on the vote?
Chairperson Fiamonte,
Aye.
Commissioner Velardo,
Aye.
Commissioner Salama,
Aye.
Commissioner Rhodes,
Aye.
Commissioner O'Connor, Commissioner Locke, Commissioner Beebe.
Aye.
Thank you. And what's the exact date for the August meeting again that it got
The
carried to?
11th, I believe?
August 11th? Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. Do we have any other communications, since we have some items?
We have a number of applications that have communications associated with them. I believe that Mr. Weeks is going to be adjourning Zara Realty LLC, 7 West 8th Street, Block 283, Lot 23.01. I believe that's item number 8 on the agenda. Alicia, did he ask for a date specific?
Yes, August 11th.
Okay, so he wants to carry that matter to August 11th without any further notice on the part of the applicant. Can I get a motion and a second to do that?
I'll move.
I'll second.
And on the vote?
Chairperson Fiamonte,
Aye.
Vice Chair Velardo,
Aye.
Commissioner Salama,
Aye.
Commissioner Rhodes,
Aye.
Commissioner O'Connor,
Aye.
Commissioner Locke, Commissioner Beebe.
Aye.
Next on the agenda is item number 9, P24-009, KKC 18 LLC, Shankar Dhanapudi, Site 57-59 Evergreen Street, Block 320, Lot 10.01. This is also a Mr. Weeks application that he's asking to carry to the August 11th date without any further notice on his part.
I'll move.
I'll second.
On the vote?
And on the vote, Chairperson Fiamonte,
Aye.
Commissioner Velardo,
Aye.
Commissioner Salama,
Aye.
Commissioner Rhodes,
Aye.
Commissioner O'Connor,
Aye.
Commissioner Locke, Commissioner Beebe.
Aye.
Next on the agenda with regard to items to be carried is P-25-015- and that's 317 Broadway, Bayonne LLC, 317 Broadway, Block 252, Lot 17. I believe Mr. Zucker has asked for the date of the 11th, correct? However, he has to renotice on this one, so this would be carrying it to the 11th, but notice would be required on the part of the applicant. Can I get a motion?
I'll move.
I'll second.
Chairperson Fiamonte,
Aye.
Commissioner Velardo,
Aye.
Commissioner Salama,
Aye.
Commissioner Rhodes,
Aye.
Commissioner O'Connor,
Aye.
Commissioner Locke, Commissioner Beebe.
Aye.
We have 2 applications at the end of the agenda. Item number 12, P25-026 Kennedy Boulevard, MWUR LLC, and 373 Kennedy Boulevard Partners LLC. Site is 361-363, 365, 371, and 373 JF Kennedy Boulevard in Block 262, Lot 7, 8, and 9. Does Mr. Maselli have a request for a date certain on that?
Yes, August 11th.
But he also requires notice on that one, I believe.
I believe so.
Okay, so that would be an application requiring notice.
Okay, I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
And on the vote?
Chairperson Fiamonte,
Aye.
Commissioner Velardo,
Aye.
Commissioner Salama,
Aye.
Commissioner Rhodes,
Aye.
Commissioner O'Connor,
Aye.
Commissioner Locke, Commissioner Beebe.
Aye.
Next is P25-037, John and Mary Ann LLC, Site 1012-1022 Avenue C, and 553-57 West 48th Street, Block 64, lots 2 and 3. This is a request to carry to August 11th as well, but I believe notice is required as well on this one to people within 200 feet of the proposed site.
I motion.
I'll second.
And on the vote?
Chairperson Fiamonte.
Aye.
Vice Chair Velardo.
Aye.
Commissioner Salama.
Aye.
Commissioner Rhodes.
Aye.
Commissioner O'Connor.
Abstain.
Commissioner Locke. Commissioner Beebe.
Aye.
Okay. Now, for the public, all of those applications that we just went through that have been carried, if you're here for them, you don't have to stay any longer. If you want to watch anything further, you're welcome to stay. Okay. Mr. Slough, are you ready to do number 6? Okay, we're going to take a brief break because we have some technical difficulties that we have to work around.
Okay, thank you.
Chairperson Fiamonte.
Here.
Vice Chair Velardo.
Here.
Commissioner Salama.
Here.
Commissioner Rhodes.
Here.
Commissioner O'Connor.
Here.
Commissioner Locke. Commissioner Beebe.
Aye. Here.
Okay, all present.
We are present.
Next on the agenda is item number 6, P-26-001A, presentation of zoning ordinance amendment.
No, we're not doing that one.
Oh, wasn't
Next
knocked off my agenda, sorry.
Yeah, I believe that still has to go to council and come back to us.
Okay, number 7, public hearing P-25-024, presentation of amendment to the Peninsula at Bayonne Harbor, Harbor Station North redevelopment plan for property located in City Block 660.01, Lot 1, as shown on the official tax map of the City of Bayonne. Mr. Slough.
Good evening.
Yes. Thank you, Madam Chair and members of the Planning Board. What you have before you is a amendment to the Harbor Station North redevelopment plan. This is just north of the area that we were discussing related to the interim uses. If you had looked at the first picture, you'll notice that there's kind of a fair or amusement park. And one of the ideas behind this is to allow commercial recreation to take place on this former HS block 9 and 10, 8 and 10, sorry, which is, perhaps we'll go to maybe the slide with the map. Yes, thank you. So for those of you with keen eyesight and looking at the map, the big rectangular blob is one of the warehouse buildings. That's the one that's pink and maroon color scheme. Don't know why they picked that, but there it is. And this is the area that it would be the second, the one on the right side, irregular shaped, a bit like a triangle with a curve to it. And this is a property that is under option by the KRE Group, who built Bay 151, which is the area that's it's to the left of that irregularly shaped parcel. It's about 10.2 acres. And this plan amendment allows for commercial recreation to be placed here. It's a bit of an awkward shape to be able to do any more multifamily residential. It could be done, but it would be an inefficient design. Secondarily, the plan would allow, as a conditional use, flex space. And flex space is where you have typically multi-tenanted buildings, and a portion of it's office, and a portion of it might be assembly or manufacturing or distribution of goods. And it allows for showrooms to take place in the front area as well, so it has a minor retail component as a conditional use. The basis for that conditional use would be that it would have to be agreed to by the city in a redevelopment agreement. So that would be the trigger permitting that should no commercial recreation be developed on the site as is intended. The regulations are an amendment to this plan, which is the redevelopment plan that was established in February of 2014. And so the plan, if you read through what has been done, is we're taking these words out, we're adding these other words, so it's a strike through and replace, as opposed to an entirely new document. It's amending this redevelopment plan, and if you read it carefully, in the amendment, it makes some references to Appendix B. That's not in the amendment, but that's in the original document, and that has some of the design standards that are in the project. So the discussion about this, it explains how it works, and that is put there in the introduction and the overview. So this 10.2 acres would be able to be used for commercial recreation of all kinds. So you could have an amusement park there, you could have sports, you could have batting cages, you could have a golf range, you could have miniature golf, you can have entertainment uses that go along with such activities. Essentially, that's what the amendment discusses in broad terms. I don't think you want me to read through this, so what I would just like to say is if you have questions, I would answer those as best of my ability about what we're looking at here for the Harbor Station North Amendment. It adds an additional use. In the long run, you could still do multifamily residential as an allowed use, which was the original idea here, but it opens up and expands activities. And as the peninsula at Bayonne Harbor develops, there will be a need for such recreational facilities to service the population. This would be, for-profit purposes, but it would also function as an accessory to the public parks that will be developed on the peninsula as well. And also, in terms of Bayonne residents that live here today, it'll give them an opportunity to have new recreation and leisure activities that aren't present now. So that's the basis for the background of this. So if you look at the development standards, minimum lot area 5 acres, minimum lot frontage 400 feet. So these are fairly standard. Maximum building height of 60 feet. That's in a commercial development, that's 4 stories. 30% building coverage, lot coverage 90%, because if you have an artificial turf field, that counts as impervious surface, even though it looks green and it drains well. Next slide, please. If that doesn't work out, and as a conditional use, City Council agrees to a redevelopment agreement that has these uses, this is what would apply then. That has a slightly larger building coverage because you would be talking about more industrial type of development with this. Next slide, please. And the parking requirements are based upon the allowed uses within here. And it sets things out for retail and office uses, warehouse distribution, assembly, which is more of a manufacturing process, commercial recreation based on the size of the building, and then for entertainment venues, if you could have 1 space per 4 seats. Also, potentially having a bowling alley would also be allowed here, setting it up for how that would be done. There are certain special design standards that were put together, and this is becoming more common in our redevelopment plans. The city has found that at times utility work takes place through land that underground and soils that are still contaminated. So they have to address the effects of on utilities for underground contamination. We don't believe that to be the case on this block, but we're adding that into all the redevelopment plan amendments to address it in case it shows up. Requires private trash disposal, so the city's not burdened with picking up commercial trash. Requires building elevations above the new flood hazard levels. A lot of the site, you may know, has been raised already to be able to bring it out of the new flood hazard area. And then the other thing is to ensure that there's adequate water and sewer, as well as, at times, requiring effluent holding tanks. That's become more common at the south, further south, and this is perhaps the most northern part where we're going to have this requirement in here. And then there's sign standards, which are specific to commercial recreation. So signboards would be allowed, like if you had a baseball diamond, for example, just like you'd have an outfield sign, you would be allowed to have that kind of sign too, as long as it was directed to the interior of the site. So we have special sign standards as well. Further, if we have a driving range or we have baseball or other things where we've got a ball that's hit or thrown, you have to have the netting, which I'm sure you've seen in other locations on high poles, so that we don't have errant balls going out, striking pedestrians or cars on the street. Requires pedestrian pathway connections to the rest of the peninsula so that it can be walkable, can be bikeable. We would require addition of traffic signal control for emergency services use. That's also a common provision we have in redevelopment plans. And there are special lighting standards for commercial recreation so that the focus is on the field. And with new technology, which is rapidly advanced in the last 15 years with LEDs, you can adjust the color and you can adjust the angle and its spillage very directly now in a way that just was not possible before. So if you're concerned about, football field lights from, 20 years ago, this would be much more focused and less glare-like for any kind of outdoor recreational use. So that's my presentation. I'd be happy to answer any questions from the board and the public.
Thank you, Mr. Slaw. Commissioners, are there any questions of Mr. Slaw's testimony? Commissioner Locke?
Mr. Lack.
Hi, how are you? Could we go back to the slide that shows the bulk standards for the commercial amendment?
Commercial recreation?
Yeah,
Sure.
that's actually one of my first questions. Is it commercial recreation or is
There we go.
one, okay, so, because, all right, on the plan here is two separate ones. So it's commercial recreation is like one use, right?
Yes, that's correct. Entertainment would be rolled into that as well.
Okay, and then let me see what, and then could we see the light industrial bulk standards?
So the main difference is that maximum building coverage increases by 10% for the industrial and flex space use.
Okay, and then just to summarize, this is just an amendment from a previously already approved plan, and it's just to add these uses, right?
That is correct.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
The previous uses were all only residential?
The previous uses were residential, and so more multifamily residential, like Bay 151 for this. Way back in the day, when the first plan was done, it was identified for public park purposes. But that changed with the 2014 plan. A more specific plan to the overall redevelopment plan for
So we're only doing
Peninsula.
this commercial recreation for the 660 block, 660.1.
That's correct. Yeah, it's about 10 acres. The plan does address a little piece at the top. Right now, that's all industrial use. And so that's like a holdover from,
Over by Flagship Street.
that would be off of Center at the very north part, just almost out of the redevelopment area. There's a little piece that still allows, and they use that now for truck parking. So that would help maintain that use.
641 would be across the street, right? Across Chosen Way.
If we could go, Alicia, to the mapping one. Yeah, that's a good one, right there. I'll just point and yell loud. If you look here, this is the parcel we're talking about. It's a little older map. Costco's over here. This is Route 440. This is the multifamily development called Bay 151. And here is Center Street that comes down. And then the Port Authority controls this land right next to the park we're talking about on the north side. This is Chosen Few Way. This is Center Street coming over. The piece I'm talking about is right in here. So that's the block 645 that's in the plan, block 1.01, I think. So that would retain its industrial basis. It's actually part of a larger tract that involves that industrial building that's to the north on the other side of Center Street. So I didn't want to mischaracterize the amendment, so it does address that small speck. I think it's about half an acre at best. But the area that is concentrated for the commercial recreation piece is the PIQ in that plan, and that is 660.01, lot 1, right? Yeah. Andy came up with those blocking lots, so it's like, okay. It also encompasses some land where we had some streets proposed in the original plan that have been vacated, were vacated in 2024.
Mr. Schlaw, it sounds like we still need a little more clarification on the parcel.
I'd be happy to.
Like 660, we see where it is clear. That's the P10 right there. But that 640, is that right next to the bay?
No, it is not next to the bay.
It's closer to Aqua.
It's lot 641, lot 1.01 is,
It's right next to Bay 51?
yes, it is. It's across the street on the north side.
Across the street.
Maybe I could clarify, as you were, if you came down across the bridge over 440, if you came over the bridge onto the peninsula, and you'll see on your right is Bay 151, right, with the retail and the nail shop and all. On the left, we had an orphan parcel. So when we acquired from the Army, as the turnpike came in and Center Street, there was like this little tiny piece. It's that piece. Right now, it's like fenced in with, there's trucks parked there.
Okay.
It's part of, if you're familiar with like Waytex, it's not called Waytex anymore, but it's, yeah.
Got it. Thank you. It's that little piece right there. It's just not on.
Okay, thank you. Any other commissioners have questions? Sure, Commissioner Rhodes?
Sorry, I know you said you mentioned a traffic study. You talked about a traffic device going up over there because it's a little tricky over there now.
Yes,
Extra
so
traffic coming.
the city's been studying the traffic situation there. There's a plan for traffic signal improvement. I don't know much about it. Mr. Reichel's been involved with that. But what it allows is, you may know that, I'm sure you know, emergency personnel have an ability to change the lights in their favor, to make them green, so that it facilitates quicker response times for the police and for emergency responders. And so what we typically do is require, as an off-track improvement, that the redeveloper add those, the hardware, the technology to the traffic signals, often next to the property, but not necessarily, that they pay for to facilitate these emergency services in the city.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any other commissioners, questions?
I just have
Sure.
a couple of questions. One is on the signage, I noted, I think it's in the plan, 2.1.5B2 and 3. So those are the street side sign and the interior signage. So first to the street side sign, you have that as, I believe it's a freestanding sign that can be within 15 feet of the right-of-way, and the height of that is, what, 60 feet or 50 feet?
50 feet.
50 feet,
Sure,
okay.
it's hard to read on your
Yeah.
screen.
Right, so where is that? You don't have that on the, do you have that on the,
It is not on the plan.
okay, so,
Yeah.
but it's in the redevelopment.
It's in the
amended-
standards for the redevelopment plan, that's
So,
yes.
my question is, I know that there's, to your knowledge, there's no other freestanding sign like that anywhere else in Harbor Station South or any of the other redevelopment areas. I don't recall one, actually, being, including all the retail. They have more like pedestal signs with the signage on the buildings, correct?
Yes, this is a sign that would be unique to the commercial recreation.
And how big is the, so it's, it seemed to have a very large pedestal, like a wide pedestal. Is it 20-foot wide pedestal that would go up 550 feet and then a 600 square foot sign?
It doesn't specify whether, so there's pylon signs. Pylon signs have usually a single post or maybe two, and the sign's attached to that. Then there's what you would call the monument style, where the width of it rises from a base, and it's the same width all the way through, and then the sign face is at the top, and then the piece in between is usually decorated, it's decorative masonry maybe, something of that nature. So it doesn't specify whether it had to be a pylon sign or a monument sign.
And so in your planning opinion, I mean, you drafted this plan, correct?
I did.
So in your planning opinion, that's a reasonable, that's a reasonable thing to put in the plan for a recreational, commercial use?
In this one instance, yes, because the intent is because of its height, and you may recall, sometimes there's difficult traffic situations from Pulaski and the Turnpike, and its height is intended to be able to direct people as to where it is. Because we expect that if we get a commercial recreation use here, it'll be a regional draw too.
Okay. And then the internal signs can be up to 60 feet off.
That's correct. So that's like your baseball signboard in the outfield. So that's what that's for.
How close is this to the existing residential development?
So if I could have well, that's probably a good one. Sorry, the one just before this. So you can see Harbor Point to the right side. And so the signs, if it's oriented where, say, the building's on Chosen Few Way, and your sports activities are taking place to the right side of that, those signs would be directed, to the left in that photograph, away from Harbor Point, because they have to be internal, they have to be oriented to the interior of the site.
Okay. And then finally, I'm not clear. Are we being asked to approve a resolution or adopt a resolution to this, or make findings that this is consistent with the master plan?
So I don't believe it's been, if it was introduced at council,
Okay.
then it would be review and recommendation of the master plan. My understanding, however, is that with the new administration, all pending ordinances that had not been adopted would have to go through the introduction process again. So I think that's where we are with this. So this plan was the other form of redevelopment plans where it becomes a creature of the planning board who is recommending it to the city council for
Right.
adoption.
Okay.
So I think we're in that second part, not the first part.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. So, ma'am, we will have a moment for the public to have questions, if you'll just be patient with us. So just to, I don't mean to cut you off, Mr. Slav, but just to explain the process, commissioners will typically ask questions first, then any of our consulting planners and engineers, and then we open it up to questions from the public. And then once questions are done, then there'll be a separate portion for comments from the public. So we'll certainly hear from everyone in just a moment. Thank you, though. I do have a question. I know a redevelopment plan or an amendment to a redevelopment plan is just a part of the process, right? Once everything goes to us, if it's favorably approved, goes to council, then at that point it opens up an application to come before us. And
That's correct.
so,
And this board would be the entity that reviews a site plan
So
based on this.
so the question, I think, when everyone hears a redevelopment plan and you're hearing signs and footage, it sounds like we're building something right now, but there's still 2 more steps that have to take place before anything even comes. However, we know that sometimes when a redevelopment plan is amended, that there's the potential for some sort of interest. Is there something, that would help everyone understand what this is potentially, this commercial recreation is being opened up for the possibility? I don't know if that may benefit the board or benefit the community, if there's anything that can be discussed or shared with us.
Well, I will say that you could envision a multi-tier golf range, for example, on the site. You could envision having batting cages and hitting or for long distances, in other words, because you would have the room to be able to do that. You can do bowling alleys, you can have an amusement park. So there are a lot of different uses that would be allowed in a commercial recreation to bring, kind of a little more fun, if you like, to the peninsula. So I think that would be what be intended with the commercial recreation.
Okay, and just to clarify for everyone up here, commercial recreation would be for the benefit of the entire city. This is not a,
It's not a private club.
Okay.
Yeah, not a private club issue.
okay, so that's what I wanted to understand a little more of.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's not like the golf course.
Okay, yeah, so it would be something more so where anyone who lives in town can go.
That's right. The idea, so just to make the distinction, we have public recreation, and that's provided by the city and the county in Bayonne. And so you have sports fields, you have playgrounds, you have picnic areas. And so those kind of recreational facilities are part of the public realm, if you like. The other aspect is you go to Wildwood for a summer vacation. On the boardwalk, there are different games and arcades and things, or an amusement pier that you can visit that you pay to use. And so this would be that kind of recreation as opposed to public parks.
Okay, thank you for clarifying that. Did you, Commissioner Locke, did you have a question, an additional question?
We were just back again on the 641 finish.
I think you might have answered this already, so I just want to confirm. The amendment would be, it wouldn't be just for that parcel, right? There's multiple parcels within this redevelopment, so would the amendment
Well, there's just a little piece that we were discussing that has the industrial truck parking on it. But otherwise, it encompasses all the rest of what was formerly Harbor Station North Blocks 8 and 10. And it's a little over 10 acres.
Does that answer your question? Okay. Commissioners, any other questions? Okay. All right, I know, Mr. Reichel, you've had a lot of communication on this, so I doubt you have any questions on it. Is there anything you wish to add before we open it up to questions to the public?
I'll just add that in the instance where the commercial, the non-recreation use were to appear, it's, any truck traffic would have to use the Maritime Access Road, which is out where the warehouses go, so out Pulaski, rather than onto, I'll call it the peninsula proper.
Okay, thank you. All right, I think now we are at the point where we will ask members of the public, your questions will be posed to Mr. Slaw regarding his testimony. You can take this podium in the center, ma'am, and then we'll just get some information from you for our stenographer, and then you'll be ready to go.
Patricia Hilliard, 42 West 23rd Street, Bayonne.
Good evening, Ms. Hilliard.
I believe that part of that area had been set aside, possibly by the DEP, as some kind of a wildlife area. Just a few years ago, we had bald eagles nesting among the trees there. And I wonder, Mr. Reichel, you could maybe answer, is part of that designated for wildlife? And which part?
So we're on that photo, it says Port Authority. That is a deed-restricted area by DEP. So there's a deed restriction on it that it can never be developed.
Oh, okay. So there is some...
Not all of that, but where it says Port Authority,
Okay.
roughly two-thirds of where it says Port Authority has a DEP deed restriction on it.
Okay, so that is basically setting it aside for wildlife?
It could be used
Yeah,
for a bird
I mean-
flyover, sure.
Yeah, it's to remain natural, no development,
Okay,
Yeah.
and that would exclude sidewalks or things like that?
excludes everything. Yeah,
Okay, although the Port Authority owns it then?
Port Authority owns it.
Yeah, so if they decided to develop it, can it still be restricted by the DEP?
Yes.
I see. Okay, that's what I wanted to know.
All right, thank you for that question. Mr. Resigno, come on up.
Mike Resigno, 42 West 23rd. Heart be still. This is like, you're talking that PIQ turn it into an amusement park.
Yes,
Okay.
possibly.
So you're going to take it from residential to commercial
I guess you
in
could
that
look at it- you could
sense.
look at it
Okay.
that way, sure.
That area is good, and I understand they do need some recreation there. And I've always been up here a few times to use our water area for a kayak launch for the people that do live out there to make the water part of the recreation area. And since I've been here just this evening, we've also added a beer garden for everybody out there. So now, and we don't have our water recreation yet, the kayak, but we want them to have a beer garden and an amusement park. I feel a little left out of the plan. But I'd also want to bring up the fact
Well,
that,
you'll have to get a beer and take it on your kayak.
I guess so, if I get the launch.
Probably not a good idea to take both together.
Well, all I can say is, have you seen recreational boating in the United States anyway?
Yeah.
No.
The area now, so, and Mr. Rickles pointed out, there will be no traffic coming in through the Pulaski Lane side.
Well, so the,
Truck traffic,
if
I
it's,
think.
say the commercial recreation doesn't work out from any kind of, for any kind of reasons.
Mm-hmm.
The investor wants to do that, and so the secondary piece, if it's approved by city council in a redevelopment agreement, that they could apply for flex space, or an assembly or use on here. And so that would be like continuing the industrial use that's already here a little bit further to the west. In that instance, all the truck traffic is required to go out the Pulaski Lane west access, not Chosen Few Way or southward like to Goldberg or Port Terminal Boulevard.
that area is, and to make it commercial now, it's going to be residential. It's residential now zoned for it, which is fine. It is a wonderful wildlife area. Pulaski Pond, which is also, that is Port Authority area, also on the other side of the roadway there.
Yes.
Where the water spillway is that goes in, and
Yes, it is.
that's also DEP protected in a sense.
It is, yes.
Okay. This area should be left, my comment on it should be left totally residential, and to leave commercial area away from that area, as it's a wildlife, good, quiet area for people without anybody touching it. The people that live there already walk through that area, and it's a wonderful, quiet space that's will be, I would say, destroyed with a commercial use that close to the protected DEP area now. As residential, I know, is pretty tough out there as it is, but to commercial will double the effect, I think, of the use of the area. It would be harsher on it than residential is.
Okay.
My view on it, and I would like the board to not allow this to go through as a commercial area and to keep it residential.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Signo. Any other members of the public have a question for Mr. Slaw? Come on up. Good evening.
Evening. Jenna Reddick from 128 West 55th Street.
Okay.
Reddick, and my first name is Jennah. I know you said this would maybe be a prospect for regional interest. As we all know, that area with Costco, it's a disaster for traffic. And to have, that does sound good, like recreational use, that would be great in Bayonne, but for this area, it is, I do not think that is the best. The traffic situation is horrible. I know there has been new traffic patterns, and even when the new one with the lanes being changed, I almost got hit on the first 2 days of it being changed. And the, what's the street, the bridge, the street that the bridge goes from?
East 42nd?
Yeah.
40th? East 40th, sorry.
Yeah.
East 40th.
I know the turnpike goes down there, it's the bridge.
Yeah, the turnpike is off the picture to the north.
Yeah, but you still go down that little area, right?
So there is access to Chosen Few Way from the exit
Yes.
of 14A.
Yeah.
And that's kind of in the center left. That's Chosen Few Way between Costco and the future New York View.
Yeah. So there's traffic from there, there's traffic from there, there's traffic from Costco. If there's so much traffic coming in, and it's already hard to get there. I live on 55th, and it 5 to 7 minutes to get there from Costco without traffic. And when there's traffic, it takes up to 20 minutes sometimes. So the idea of recreational usage right there, I can't imagine the accidents and the Port Authority, the deed restriction. How would it be enforced for guests not to disturb that area? You know, people, there's a beer garden there, people get rambunctious, they might go over, do something, try to do something, because that's happened even in my own property. People
Well,
drink again.
I would anticipate that the site will be fenced.
I'm just like,
I mean, not the commercial recreation, I would expect that to be fenced.
yeah, but things happen, people do things,
They most certainly do.
Yeah, but like you said, it's a protected area, it's a natural wildlife habitat. And as Mike said, you would want that to be quiet. There's bald eagles there, there's nature that's flourishing and things like that. I'm just saying, I don't think it's a good idea. The traffic is horrible already there. The natural resource should be left alone, quiet. Yeah. And what is future NY
There's an approved development on that site. It's called New York View.
Is that residential? or-
Yeah, it's a couple of 25-story residential towers.
That's for another thing. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Just to be clear, at this point, we're still in the question period, so I know, just be mindful that if you do have comments, you can come back up and you'll have an opportunity for those. So questions? We'll start with the gentleman in the front.
Thank you for the time. Damian Bavona from West 9th Street. Bivona. So I'm starting to come to a lot of meetings for a lot of reasons, and I'll ask a number of questions in a second. Number of reasons are specifically to what this young lady said, specifically what the gentleman's saying. We're building constantly. We're expanding. 10 stories here. Even tonight, even though you made some good decision on tabling things and getting more information, 85 units, 286 units, 180 units, right? Where are these people going? There's no traffic pattern left anymore. We're not asking these builders to expand the roads, to give us a traffic pattern analysis, to tell us what it means for, and I'm going to get to the question.
Thank you.
To get to the question of what does it mean for our security, right? People coming in, it is a regional thing, looks great. That area is a nightmare already, right? They're putting cones up just so you can't make a turn into Costco, right? So the question is, what traffic pattern study was done that tells us you're going to get X amount of people coming down one-way streets either way in that area? I go there all the time. Coming over those little bridges, which are one-way bridges, coming from the water where the residential people come from, coming from Lidl and CVS and the workout center, all on 1, 2, 3, 4 roads. And now you're going to put, you want to put in this big park area, all well and good, nothing wrong with what the features want to be, but there's nowhere to go anymore.
Sir, did you want to give
So-
Mr. Slaw an opportunity to answer the
Yes,
question?
the question is, what traffic pattern discussion was made on this study?
So when the Bayonne redevelopment, the peninsula at Bayonne Harbor redevelopment plan had a comprehensive study done of traffic impacts for the peninsula and how you would get there and back from Route 440 and the Turnpike in the early 2000s. And so that set a number of residential units that could work there, as well as an amount of non-residential development. So this fits within that pattern.
Right. So the follow-up question is, we're 26 years after the year 2000. You see all the building that's going on. Why don't we ask for a new traffic pattern study, at least, right? Why don't we ask for a security study? Because what does it mean on the burden of our police department in that area where now we expect hundreds or maybe a few thousand people now coming in? Did we do a security study of what the kind of
It
police
sounds,
protection would be needed?
So the police department had input into that study in the 2000s.
2000.
Now, there has been, of course, continuing work on improving and having capital improvements for the road system on the peninsula. So it's not as if it's just been static and stopped. Anybody who would come in for the site plan would have to do a traffic assessment as well. They would have to do a traffic report to indicate how they anticipate their patrons to be able to get there and get out again. So it's a legitimate question that you're asking, but site-specific things that would need to be done would be addressed at site plan as opposed to at this level.
But do they also, is that including, is part of the redevelopment there including expanding the roadways to multiple lanes at all?
More, I would say that it's going to have more streets, yes.
Within that area,
Yes, that's
but
correct.
not adjacent or on the backside to come in.
I don't think anybody's planning to double deck Route 440, no.
Gotcha. Okay. And then, thank you, I appreciate that. But I think, just as a quick comment, I think overall, we're at a point where we have to look at this whole master plan.
Sir, you'll get a chance to make that
Well,
statement
I
at the
won't
end.
make it again, but I think we have to relook at this master plan from now, not in 2000, but 2026. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Come on up, ma'am. I'm sorry, I couldn't see through my reading glasses. I'm taking them on and off.
I understand that all too well. Diane Stein, S-T-E-I-N. I'm at 100 Avenue G. I just want to add a couple of more questions to what Mr. Bavona just raised, which is, in addition to the roads and the police, I'm concerned about and I don't know if this is for you directly, I'm concerned about the ability of fire services and emergency response with all of the incoming residents and development that's happening. There's two ways in and out of Bayonne, but also even just within the city of Bayonne itself, I'm not sure if the fire department and other emergency services have been able to expand to accommodate all of the development happening. So that's a question.
For Mr. Slaw.
I'm not sure who it's for, to be perfectly honest.
What, this?
There's only one person that you can ask.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, I will note that there is.
Ma'am, you don't have to sit down. You can wait for Mr. Slaw to answer your question in case you have a follow-up.
Well, you may recall that across from Costco and Chosen Few Way, there is a new fire station that was constructed there as part of the emergency services. And you may have heard in the presentation about how the developer of the site would be required to put in what's called traffic preemption
Right.
to give emergency services people the green light. And so those are things, other requirements on the New York View, for example, to the south, they'll have a repeater beacon on the top of the building so that emergency services can ensure that their police radios
yeah.
and EMS radios can reach this area of the city.
No, I appreciate that. It's
Yeah.
just a concern that if a lot of these studies were done 20 to 25 years ago, and there's been such a big influx of building, that in addition to traffic, whether emergency services can accommodate the new situation in Bayonne.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. Questions? I see a hand in the back, and then we'll move back over to the other side.
My question is definitely for this nice gentleman with his presentation. Okay, my name is Margaret Engel, 165 West First Street, Bayonne, New Jersey. I'm a little confused. Are you representing an interest in planning this, or is this a city interest in developing this?
I'm working for the city.
Okay, for the city.
I'm one of the city's planning consultants.
Okay, so then my next question would be, where are we in the current city plan? When was this last discussed or available for the public to review? When was our last city plan for such a development proposed and published for the citizens of Bayonne? For this area that we're discussing?
Are you speaking about a master plan?
Yes.
Mr. Slaw, do you want to answer that?
So there's been two major documents. One was 2000 master plan, which partly led to the peninsula's redevelopment 3 years later in a more concentrated fashion. And then there was a significant reexamination of that in 2017. And there's been further discussion recently about updating the city's master plan.
Okay, so for the audience.
Which would also include the
Right.
peninsula as well as the rest of the city.
So for the audience and the commissioners, we're talking about a plan that's 9 years old, and nothing new has been updated and formalized as to what this city plan should include. This is all going on 2016 information. Correct?
Well, I would say that as applications come forward, things are scrutinized by the planning board and its professionals, which does include traffic, public safety, all the other aspects of site plan review. how to
Okay.
park people, what lanes are needed. So it does get, it's not as if it's a completely static process.
Understood, but a question I would have for everyone here and on the board, I think it would be valuable for the citizens of Bayonne. I've lived here for my whole entire life. I don't want to give my age. But I would say, I think we need an
15 or
updated
20
plan
years.
that is visible on website or in a newspaper would be great, where the citizens of Bayonne could see what a current master plan should be for this town in 2026 going into 2027, not 2016. Because in the last 9 years that I've lived here, I have seen such changes, especially down at Harbor Point, that it's unbelievable. And what I understood was going to happen down there is not anything that did happen, what was discussed in 2000. So I'm going to ask the board, let's be transparent and give a master plan to the city so we know what we're talking about.
Okay?
Okay, thank you.
All right. Question, ma'am?
Jill Pastrino, 74 West 46th Street. And my question is, there's a lot of talk about the entertainment part or the recreational part, but sort of slid in there and a little bit glossed over was the industrial. Like what kind of industrial we're talking about? We've got 3 approvals for data centers that were kind of slid in as amendments to redevelopment plans. So I think you should clarify, like you say, if it doesn't work, it could be industrial. So what kind of industrial are we talking about? Is there any?
So the intent is for it to be flex space.
Yeah,
as I
and what does that
described
mean?
So flex space is a building where there is an office portion to it, and sometimes it has an assembly piece, and it has some distribution of the products that are put together or repaired. So, for example, and that flex space implies that the proportions of office to the back end of the operation, as you might say, can vary depending on the needs of the tenant. And so hence the flex space. So the ordinance is set up that it allows up to 50% of that space to be office. It limits the amount of part that can be distribution to 80% of the area. It can have a retail component for showrooms. So like, for example, someone, there's a business that has a plumbing supply house and has fixtures and it has displays that people can come and look at so that they can then order those fixtures for their own property. So that would be an example of flex space use. It has a retail component.
But the slide said industrial and flex space.
Yes, so the
What are
industrial-
the parameters of this? Like, is there any parameters
There's
to what
a-
industrial means?
Yeah, so industrial can be warehouse space, but it's not a data center. Data centers are not permitted. And recall that I said those are conditional uses. Conditional uses are allowed, but only if they meet a set of criteria or conditions. One of those being, the city council has to have approved the use in a redevelopment agreement. So that's some way down the pike. So there is that kind of control on the use. It's not something they can just apply for without having the concurrence of city council.
Well, this permission for this amendment is not to a redevelopment agreement? It's like.
No, this is the plan. So
Okay.
there's like 3 parts in redevelopment. There's determining if an area meets the criteria to be in a redevelopment area. That's the first step. Second step is the redevelopment plan, which is what this is.
Right, so this is a redevelopment plan.
And it's amending one that had been done.
And once you give a permission, we have found that city council, you've given them permission, it's hard to reverse that if what is proposed is within the criteria, but it's something nobody wants, you've given them permission with this redevelopment plan, right? With this amendment, to
If
do
they
this
meet the-
type of thing.
They would need to meet the criteria, one of which is approval by city council, who are political representatives of probably most of everybody in the room here.
All right, thanks.
Thank you. I think we had one last question from Mr. We have two questions? Okay. Mr. Resigno, you know what, if you wouldn't mind, I'm just going to give everyone else an opportunity that hasn't gone yet. I saw another hand pop up, sir.
Keith Gallant, 25 East 23rd. You had mentioned that that some parts of that parcel has already been elevated because of flood concerns.
Yes.
And that there is a chance that it's going to be elevated even higher?
Well, because the rules on what the elevation needs to be have changed.
Right. So my question is, where do the floodwaters go then?
Well, so they go into Newark, they go into the bay, they go into the Hudson.
Okay, why can't we require some sort of flood retention basin to be part of this plan?
So that would not be in the redevelopment plan per se, that would be under site plan control. And they would be required to meet New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection rules related to stormwater.
And the city has no say in that at all?
They would need to ensure that they're complied with, yes.
So
I can add to that, is that the city stormwater ordinance mirrors the DEP ordinance, so.
okay, we can do better. What's to stop us from doing better?
Yeah.
Nothing,
Your ordinance.
exactly, thank you, we're good. And I know this may not be the right place, but is there any restriction on approving any kind of preferential tax treatment for this parcel? And if not, where do residents go to make sure the developer is not exempt from contributing to the rising costs of running Bayonne?
That
So
would be
that's-
council, correct?
That is a city council action and
You heard it
prerogative.
here, folks. If we don't want this developer to get a pilot or any kind of preferential tax treatment, we all have to show up at council. Okay? Thank you for clarifying that. A 26-year-old traffic pattern study that has had periodic reviews has proven to be a miserable failure.
Are you in the commentary phase now?
So is it possible to delay voting on this until we get a better and more comprehensive solution to the already existing miserable failure that we all are living with right now? That's a question.
Well, that's not a question I can answer since I'm not sitting on the board. I'm just
All right.
providing technical
Moving
expertise
along.
to them.
What I heard was recreation for all of Bayonne's residents, for-profit recreation, which it really means it's pay-to-play recreation. Let's
Kind
not
of a-
mix words here.
That's kind of a loaded term.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Well, considering how Bayonne has been run for the past 50 years, you're right. Pay-to-play is definitely a loaded term. But we're moving on. So will the city require any true free recreational services on this parcel moving forward?
Not on this parcel, but other
Okay.
parcels in
Thank
the
you.
peninsula.
That's it for now. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. All right, Mr. Resigno, I think you had a question, and then I believe after that, we'll be moving to the official comment section.
The one question I have is that you keep bringing up this special tool that the fire department has to clear traffic lights.
Yes, sir.
There is not one traffic light in that whole area.
Well, it's coming.
Just-
They're coming. What can I say?
Right, but that's just to bring that up. And also, if you go back to that one where it shows a parcel, where it says the Port Authority, now it says owned by City of Bayonne? Is that?
The land is owned by the city, yes.
Oh, so this is easy. Just keep it a park. People use it for a walkway already going to work to the UPS barn. And it's a wonderful area. So, and this is terrific. There's no reason to do anything with it. So, that's all.
Okay, thank you. Ma'am, do you have a question or a comment? Because I know you were up before with a comment. You have a question? Okay, you can come up and ask Mr. Slaw your question.
Do I have to say my name again, or?
Just
No,
identify
our
who you are,
stenographer has it.
Just Generetic. I just wanted to ask too, you said the traffic study was done in 2000s, and you say it's being periodically, like, it's not static, it's kind of updated. Would the cruise port be included into that traffic study?
It was at the time, yes.
And you say, because you're saying it's not static for the traffic study, it's,
So when applicants come before the board for site plan approval or a subdivision, part of that submission requirement are traffic impact assessments. And so traffic patterns get looked at, the amount of traffic expected to be generated from the site gets looked at, they assign it to different directions. And that's done on the basis of their expertise as traffic engineers or planners. And that gets reviewed along with other things the planning board looks at, gets reviewed by the professionals to see whether it makes sense and what the proposed improvements would do for improving traffic flow. It's recognized that there is a problem with traffic on the peninsula.
and would these studies be on weekends and like peak hours? Because I know sometimes for traffic studies, it's done after 4 o'clock when things are slow and people are going home to school, so.
The traffic studies I've seen usually run for several days and weekends as well as weekdays.
Okay. I also just wanted to ask, would there be any trees and flora added to this property, recreational or resident? I mean,
Yeah, so
residential.
landscape plans are required as part of site plan approval, which would have tree plantings, shrubs, planting beds, irrigation systems, details about how that would be done, what the shrubs and the trees are going to be. Peninsula, being surrounded by salt water, has some special plant characteristics that we have to be concerned about, so we look at those when the plan gets reviewed.
All right, that's it.
Thank you. Okay, at this time, we will move to, I know we had some comments kind of interwoven with some of our questions. However, if there are members of the public that wish to come up to make a statement, whether it be pro or con regarding the testimony you've heard from Mr. Slaw, please raise your hand. Come on up, sir. Now you'll have to be sworn in before making a statement.
I do. Damian Bavona. So the basic comment is kind of what I said before when I shouldn't have said it. It's really taking the master plan and putting it through real paces again after so many years of doing these studies in the back end. I was at even the council meeting a few weeks ago, you know, when these builders come in, they're not really doing a school study of how many new students are going in. They're giving a thumbs up, kind of, we think this many people are coming in, how many new cars. I know the parking's offline, off the street, et cetera, but they're not really doing a real study to say what's going on in Bayonne, right? We only have a few ways to come in, one way really to go out on the back end to Staten Island. This isn't an area where patterns are coming from everywhere and you can get out of here fast, kind of thing. So basically, we have tools nowadays. AI is one of them. We don't want data centers here, I get it. But AI is one of the tools. We can take our plan, master plan, run it through the AI generators against other master plans around the world, around the country. See where we're short, where we're doing well, where the patterns are terrible, where we need more money because we have to pay for more police, where the school system's breaking. We could do those things without much fanfare, without much craziness, and see where our plan stacks up against good plans in the world and bad plans in the world, and see where we're going. Where do we really want to go? That's basically all I wanted to say at this point. So, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, anyone else wish to make a statement? Okay, Mr. Zigno, come on up.
I do. This area here, now what I've learned from it is that this is owned by the city, is an ideal area for a park and recreation area. This area is home to, which is actually gone on the almost endangered list, the black crowned night heron, which is now, we've seen over 6 to 7 of them in the Pulaski Pond area. And also, Baltimore Orioles nest there during the season. And what I would like to see the city do is take this and use it for a rec area for all the housing that you do have there. Because this is a wonderful wildlife area. And I'm sure the Port Authority wouldn't mind helping the city making trails through that area and opening up that waterfront area also. It's also home nesting ospreys, and it can be clear too, because the truckers do go there and they do spend the nights there, which isn't that good, but they need to keep it clear. But I would like to see the city not take this into and turn it into commercial residential if they don't just take it and make it a park for the public, since we have now maybe 10,000 people living in that area without nothing but a pocket park to go to. So my statement is to make it a park, do not definitely give it commercial rights, and open that area up for the public. Thank you. And
Okay.
keep it a wildlife area.
Thank you. Ma'am, do you wish to make a statement? Yeah, I can make it from here. No, you have to, part of the process is you have to be sworn in and make it on. No, we have to have it on the record because everything is documented.
Margaret Engel, 160.
Ma'am, hang on.
It's the truth. Okay, in response to what he just said, I fully agree. A comment was made earlier that they wanted it to be something like the Wildwood experience with an amusement park and regional and bringing in people. I'm very familiar with the Wildwood Boardwalk, and I'm very familiar with Cape May. Regarding bald eagles, I have never seen one in Wildwood near that boardwalk. I have seen many on Beach Avenue in Cape May. If we put an amusement park or some loud batting cages, we don't need a bowling alley, we need a movie theater in this town again. I want to see the wildlife continue to have some space, and I agree with this gentleman, we should leave it as is and have more open park area. Where I live on First Street, they're developing down on Avenue A. I believe they're still doing something with a movie theater. I can't really make sure what's going on with 1888 or whatever it's called down there, but I can tell you in my neighborhood, I am seeing wildlife that I have never seen in my lifetime. I have wild turkeys, I have groundhogs, I have skunks, I have all sorts of unusual animals that come onto my property because it's the last vestige of open space. And I'm grateful that I have it. They're all very peaceful, they're wildlife, but I don't think they have anywhere to go anymore because we're overdeveloping this town. I would leave it for the wildlife.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Mr. Slaw, I don't see any other hands. Is there any, sir, you wish to make a statement? Okay, come on up.
Yes. Keith Gallant, 25 East 23rd. I'm going to try and be polite. I just want to remind everybody that this is the planning board that brought us data centers. So our confidence in their ability to decide on our behalves, on our behalves and for our best interests, considering this recent election, is shaken at best, okay? So times are changing. I think this election was proof of that. And I just really need to believe that y'all are getting the message loud and clear. Residents have had enough. So whenever you're making these decisions, I think you need to take into consideration that if we were willing to show up with torches and pitchforks at council because of your bad decision-making when it came to the data center permitted use, we will show up continually until you start acting in the best interest of this city. Thank you.
Thank you. Comment? I know. None of us were there.
Yes. Yep, Tommy Frayne, 123 West 3rd Street. I'm going to be an unpopular guy, but I just want to speak for residents that are supportive of some development in the city. You know, I have 4 young kids. I moved to Bayonne 5, 6 years ago now. And we chose Bayonne because of a lot of the changes and a lot of the growth and the things and really the potential that we see in the city. A couple of the points I do want to just bring up, though, this project or this parcel is already approved for multifamily development, I believe. I know it's not the question portion, but so even if this was to get voted down, multifamily development could happen. So, you know, just because this amendment is not agreed to does not mean that this is going to be left for the wild. A couple of other points I just want to make is the 34th Street extension, the pedestrian crossway is under works as well. I think this peninsula, from an urbanist, you know, a real future looking out from pedestrian, bikes, everything else in that area, connecting over to Houlihan's, where that whole project has a lot of pedestrian sort of accessories to it, you know, is a real positive thing for the city. So I understand there's a lot of anti-development fervor right now because there's been a lot of change in a small amount of time. But I just want to make sure we don't overcorrect as well and look at any change as negative. So that is what I see with this particular site, and apologies, you know, nothing personal, but yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Anyone else? Comments before we let Mr. Slaw take the microphone back? Okay, Mr. Slaw, if you have any closing statements, and then we'll move to commissioners for any comments.
So I would just like to reiterate that this is not the last step in the process, and that suddenly we'll see an amusement park or a driving range or batting cages on this property. This creates the opportunity to do so in a location where we think it makes sense from a planning standpoint to provide additional recreational opportunities for people who live there now and who will be living there in the future. It is, in fact, an urbanist concept to have walkable, bikeable areas so that people don't necessarily need to travel by vehicle. And that's the idea behind the peninsula and creating an interconnected street network. This is part of that to provide these opportunities on an awkwardly shaped parcel that can accommodate recreation in a way that a lot of other uses would struggle to fit in any kind of efficient land use pattern. So I think that it's a reasonable expansion of the allowed uses on the property. It's something the city has considered for some time about having this use here. And so I would ask the planning board to favorably recommend it to the governing body.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Slaw. Commissioners, any commissioners wish to make a comment on the record?
You know, I'm
Sure.
sorry. I just,
No, go
you know,
ahead, Commissioner O'Connor.
And it really, in part, just to, well, address a couple of comments, but one is that I know one of the members of the public came up and talked about the planning board, and just so you know, this is the first night I'm on the planning board.
Yeah,
And
several new members.
Now, I was on the planning board a really long time ago, but Mayor Nadrowski appointed me as one of the representatives of the planning board, and I take that seriously. And I know there are other members of the planning board here that Mayor Nadrowski appointed on July 1st. So it is in Constitution significantly a new planning board. And so I just want everybody in the public to know that right now. And then just from a couple of comments to the public, because I want to, first, the last person that got up, Tom Frayne, I think his name was, I think he's a new Bayonne resident, and a lot of us are lifelong Bayonne residents. But I think he made a lot of good points, and it was a point that I wanted to ask Mr. Slaw and just didn't get into, which is there is a redevelopment plan adopted for this site, and it's a significant lot of residential units here. It's hundreds and hundreds of residential units on the edge of all the other residential development that's going on here. So if the city doesn't look to diversify uses out there, there will eventually be residential development, and this planning board or the administration won't be able to do much about it because this property's been under contract forever. While the city may technically own it, the minute that a development, I think I may be speaking from past experience here, but the minute the city, a certain point gets to where maybe it's a site plan approval or probably a building permit, the property is sold. So that's also really not an option here. What the option is to try to diversify the uses and the benefits to the community. And I think that a thoughtful redevelopment plan for this site, which contemplates commercial recreation, and it's hard to describe exactly what it would be. I don't believe Wildwood is a good example, and I don't think it would be, and I don't think the
Yeah, maybe
planning
that wasn't
board
my
here-
best example.
Yeah, and
I think that misled people.
Right.
I just
Right, and
meant
we
in the
all
sense that
grew
it's
up here with
purchased.
a beloved amusement park on First Street, Uncle Milty's, but that's not what it's going to be. It's not going to be Wildwood, and it's not going to be Uncle Milty's. It's going to be a commercial, recreational, sports-type use that acts as a buffer and to the residential and to the industrial that's there and the port that's right next to it. I think it's a reasonable use, and I think it makes sense to do this. And this is not the last bite at the apple. This was not referred by the city council, I guess. So this will go to the city council, so they can look at it also. But I think it's a reasonable, good first step here. And then the other thing that I want to say, and I don't want to take everybody's time here, but Damian Bavone and Margaret Engel and Ms. Stein talked about the master plan. And you're right, the master plan, I mean, if you want to go take a look online, you'll see that one of the names on that master plan is my name. And that's from 2000, and that was done when Joe Dory became mayor in 1998. It was worked on for a couple of years, and it was adopted in 2000. Richie Camposano here was involved in that also. I think his name is on that. But it's been a long time, and there's been a revision, but that's not enough. And on Inauguration Day, on July 1st, when the mayor appointed many of us here to the open spots on the board, one of the things she did say was that there was going to be a new master plan process started. And it's high time that that be done, and I'm sure that's going to be done. But in the meantime, a lot of things have to get done and moved. And this is a reasonable approach to this oddly shaped site on the edge of the industrial area. And finally, I think we have the benefit of having some professionals, and Rich Camposano is one of them, but professionals who've been around forever. One of them is Andy Reichel over there, who has been the engineer for this site since the city was looking to negotiate to acquire it from the Army 29 years ago, and has an encyclopedic knowledge of it. And so we retain those things here. People are sensitive about this. We all share in your concerns. And I think that, it's great that you all come out. And I presume these meetings are going to be streamed soon, and so everybody will be able to see them and interact, and I look forward to that. But I just wanted to say all those things because I think back into the context of this limited amendment to a redevelopment plan. I think it's reasonable and is appropriate, and I think that we should consider recommending it to the city council.
Thank you, Commissioner O'Connor. Any other commissioners who wish to make a statement regarding it?
I would like to add to what Mike said. I would love if a project comes through, I would like to see an updated traffic study that actually conveys realistic, traffic patterns. I would also like to possibly maybe see a wildlife preservation study, if we can. I don't like the industrial aspect of it. When I think of a recreational area besides an industrial area, it just doesn't make sense. So maybe, and I know this is a process, but maybe we can define what would be industrial a little better and what would be commercial. I don't want to end up seeing the entire area be industrial and commercial and not really recreational.
I see.
Well, I think it's a fair point if the commissioners felt strongly in removing the industrial piece. That is a recommendation, correct, Mr. Camposano?
Recommendation, but it would be up to the city council to determine whether or not that's what they want.
Okay, so we could, if we were to all vote favorably, we could add that into the recommendation to council to potentially remove the industrial component. Is that something that the board would be amenable to?
I'd make that motion.
Okay.
We recommend adopting, we recommend this adoption of this plan by the city council with the proviso that the plan not or exclude industrial and industrial use, which it presently does, right? Right,
Yes,
Mr. Slaw?
that's
Yeah.
correct.
So that for the other uses that we talked about, great. For the industrial use, that we recommend consideration that be excluded in the final redevelopment plan. So
Yeah.
that's in the form of a motion.
Yep, I would agree with that motion, unless I just want to make sure there are no other comments before we move to a motion. Sorry. No, that's okay. Okay, so then we'll accept your motion regarding making a suggestion to council that the industrial portion of that potentially be looked at and removed.
Make sure all
Sure.
all the commissioners are in agreement with adding that, yes? Are we in agreement with adding that amendment?
Is there anyone who opposes to adding that component?
As long as we're all in agreement, we can move forward with it.
Yeah, I don't see anyone who opposes it. Okay, so then we'll move forward. So when you're voting on the motion, that's what you would be voting on. So we have a motion. I'll second.
I'll move.
No, you're voting now. I second.
On the vote, Chairperson Fiamonte.
Aye.
Vice Chair Velardo.
Aye.
Commissioner Salama.
Aye.
Commissioner Rhodes.
Aye.
Commissioner O'Connor.
Aye.
Commissioner Locke. Commissioner Beebe.
Aye.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Slaw. I
Thank you
believe.
for your attention.
Thank you. We'll take a brief 5-minute break before our next, okay, so we can get up and stretch, especially you. At this time, we will resume our meeting. I would ask that everyone have a seat, with the exception of anyone that is coming up to testify and present. We will call the meeting back to order. Can we have a roll call, please?
You most certainly may, Chair.
Thank you.
Chairperson Fiamonte.
Here.
Vice Chair Velardo.
Here.
Commissioner Salama.
Here.
Commissioner Rhodes.
Here.
Commissioner O'Connor.
Here.
Commissioner Locke. Commissioner Beebe.
Here.
Okay.
On to the agenda. Item number 11, P-26-002, Peninsula View Urban Renewal LLC, 75-87 East 31st Street, Block 411, Lot 2.01. The applicant is seeking preliminary and final site plan approval to construct an 8-story building, 7 stories of residential units and levels of parking containing 165 residential units with associated parking, 4 deviations, 2 variances, and 2 design exceptions. Ms. Weiner?
Good evening, Ms. Weiner.
Thank you. Good evening. I'm Emily Weiner from Weiner Law Group, here on behalf of the applicant, Peninsula View Urban Renewal LLC, seeking preliminary and final site plan approval for a multifamily residential development with parking and many amenities for the residents to be located at the property currently identified as 75 through 87 East 31st Street within the Penn View redevelopment area in the city of Bayonne. A bit of history. The site goes back to 2016 when it was declared an area in need of redevelopment and the city adopted the Penn View redevelopment area plan. This application is proposed in accordance with that plan. In September of 2018, this board, well, as we heard, there's some new members to this board, so this board, maybe some different people, granted general development approval and preliminary site plan approval for this project pursuant to Resolution P-18-012. And at this time, the applicant is seeking preliminary and final site plan approval to allow for the current proposal, which is more in line with the market demands and realities of 2026, the details of which you'll hear from the applicant's experts. As I mentioned, they're seeking the preliminary and final site plan approval, and as you heard from the board attorney, they're seeking two variances, one to allow a retaining wall height of 7.8 feet where 4 is permitted, and the other is to allow parking to not be screened where screening is required. However, this variance relates only to 2 surface parking spaces that are actually more of a drop-off area. And you'll hear the testimony, and it may be the board's determination that this variance is not actually needed at all because it's not parking, rather it's a drop-off zone. However, out of an abundance of caution, we called it parking, we sought the variance, we noticed for the variance, and if the board decides that we don't need the variance, then we're good, and if you decide that we do, then at least we've done the right things to get there. Again, there are 4 deviations from the redevelopment plan that are being sought. The first is to allow 2 curb cuts on East 31st Street where 1 is permitted. Second is to allow vehicular access from 31st and 32nd Streets where the plan calls for access from 31st. Oh. Is everybody okay?
We're going to take a short break.
While we did not have an official adjournment for the obvious reasons, we will have a roll call just to make sure we're all back. Sorry, my microphone was not working properly. Okay.
Roll call.
We'll do the roll call.
Chairperson Fiamonte.
Here?
Vice Chair Velardo.
Here.
Commissioner Salama.
Here.
Commissioner Rhodes.
Here.
Commissioner O'Connor.
Here.
Commissioner Locke. Commissioner Beebe.
Here.
Okay. Before we continue, obviously we had something come down. I just want to check with our commissioners to see if anyone has any concerns. I want to make sure we're all okay before moving forward. Were there any concerns down the end? I don't know. I couldn't see Commissioner Velardo.
My concern is that we really didn't fix it. More of the pieces could fall. It is already 10 to 9. We don't take any more testimony at all after 9:30. So really, we're going to begin something to leave. All these people came to give their opinions on things. We're going to start something to then leave it with one person speaking, and then we're going to end the meeting anyway. So I think this would be a good time to adjourn and to make sure that they come in and they fix these and they fix the ceiling and look at what's wrong. 3 hours to everyone here is for prospects.
Okay.
Finish the whole testimony, but you can start.
One person can speak, or 2 of us. We're all here for the same thing.
Okay. Mr. Campesano, do you just want to comment on the process? Should we only get through one or two for the benefit of the audience?
Yeah. What happens is we take no new witnesses after 9:30 and we adjourn at 10 o'clock. That's been the custom of the board for as long as I've been here. So if you want to, you did your opening, I believe. We're back in session. Did you finish your opening?
I did not.
Okay, so let's
I'll be
resume
quick.
with that.
Yes. Okay.
Mr. Campesano, sorry. The other thing is that comment from the public would be coming after all the testimony, which which will not be finished.
That's true.
So, and that is one thing that I wanted to point out. I know somebody from the back in the audience, and rightfully so, you're here for a meeting, you're here for something, and you want to be heard, and we all relate to that, I certainly do. But what's going to go on here, because of the unfortunate situation that occurred, but really, because of the other testimony that ran so long, and the backup of things matters over the course of time here, because there haven't been some planning board meetings in a while, is that this application is going to be truncated, and it'll, I think everybody from the public will get a better opportunity to hear all the testimony, ask questions, get them answered, all on the record if we start this fresh in August. At the next meeting, and I know everybody suffered, sat through, but I think that's probably in the best interest of everybody, including anybody that's interested in this project as members of the public, neighbors, and such.
Would it be possible, Ms. LaShanzi, if we were to move this to August, given that they've been here this evening, would it be possible to to put their item first on the agenda? Okay. I mean, I think that's what I'm hearing from commissioners, that it would make more sense to do that, and then with the promise to the community that this goes on the agenda first, so that this way no one's waiting until 10 p.m. to hear.
Madam Chair, that's usually our process, but if we heard testimony tonight and started up, it would relieve whatever you have on your August agenda, because we already have transferred 5 items over there. This probably wouldn't have even been gotten to tonight, except for the fact that the 3 in front of it have been adjourned.
Okay, well, I'm hearing from a couple of the commissioners that they'd prefer to just have this done all in one chunk, which I am in agreement with. So we can potentially poll the commissioners. Yes.
Madam Chairwoman, just a question. Since she already started her opening, wouldn't that push them to be the first ones that would be heard?
I believe so. Correct,
Yeah,
Mr. Camisell?
That's the way we
Yeah.
we pick up with the application in process at the
Okay,
next
so
meeting.
you-
Yeah,
This
I
is
was
the
going to say, we'd be
application
old
Yeah,
business
so
now
you would
instead
be
of new
first
business,
anyway.
so.
So that answers that question. So are there any commissioners opposed to having this just pick up back first at the August meeting? Any commissioners opposed? Okay, so then do we want to just stop the testimony, or stop the opening right here, and then we'll make a motion to carry it or continue it? What is the language?
It's the commissioner's choice.
Okay, well, it sounds like everyone's agreeable to move it to August at this point. So we'll make a motion to move this to the August agenda.
If we move it to the August agenda, it would have to be with no further notice required on the part of the applicant.
Okay, that's fine, I'll make that motion.
I would actually request that it be to move it as old business and therefore put it first on the agenda, as well as obviously no notice required because it is already opened and ongoing, if that would be acceptable to the board.
I'm agreeable to that.
I believe they're saying that.
That's what we're saying.
Just wanted to clarify,
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah, not a problem. Okay, so I'll make that motion,
Okay, let's give it the date certain. It's August 11th,
August
Alicia?
11th.
Also, Mr. Jefferson, please let the record note that there are 2 additional exhibits provided at the break, and they will be added to the exhibits online. We have A28 as the aerial exhibit and A29 as the color site plan rendering. If the applicant can provide me a tangible copy for the master file, that
Yep,
would be appreciated.
tomorrow.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so a motion and a second to carry this matter to August 11th without any further notice on the part of the applicant.
I'll move.
I'll second.
And on the vote, Chairperson Fiamonte?
Aye.
Vice Chair Velardo?
Aye.
Commissioner Salama?
Aye.
Commissioner Rhodes?
Aye.
Commissioner O'Connor?
Aye.
Commissioner Locke? Commissioner Beebe?
Aye.
Okay.
Thank you.
Now we have...
Thank you so much for understanding. We have we have a number of resolutions, correct?
Yeah, we have 4, I believe. First resolution would be B25-036, South Cove Common Development 2 and South Cove Development 3, site block 412, lots 1.01, 2.01, 2.021, 2.022, and 2.03. Can I get a motion to approve that resolution?
I'll move.
I'll second.
On the vote?
Chairperson Fiamonte.
Aye.
Vice Chair Velardo.
Aye.
Commissioner Salama.
Aye.
Commissioner Rhodes.
Aye.
Commissioner O'Connor.
Aye.
Commissioner Locke. Commissioner Beebe.
Aye.
Next on the agenda is an application that was heard by the Minor Subdivision Subcommittee, P-26-003, Abacaris Realty, site is 911 Skylar Place, Block 289, Lot 5. Can I get a motion and a second to approve that resolution?
I'll move.
Second?
On the vote?
Chairperson Fiamonte.
Aye.
Vice Chair Velardo.
Aye.
Commissioner Salama.
Aye.
Commissioner Rhodes.
Aye.
Commissioner O'Connor.
Aye.
Commissioner Locke. Commissioner Beebe.
Aye.
Thank you. I was
Just about to read it.
I was searching my memory to see if I should or I shouldn't. And last is P-25-024 Harbor Station North RDP City Block 660.01 Lot 1. That was the item where we're going to recommend for the commercial and recommend that the industrial be deleted.
Okay, I'll move.
I'll second.
And on the vote?
Chairperson Fiamonte.
Aye.
Commissioner
Aye.
Vice Chair Velardo, sorry.
Aye.
Commissioner Salama.
Aye.
Commissioner Rhodes.
Aye.
Commissioner O'Connor.
Aye.
Commissioner Locke. Commissioner Beebe.
Aye.
Motion to adjourn.
I'll move.
I'll second.
And on the vote?
Chairperson Fiamonte.
Aye.
Vice Chair Velardo.
Aye.
Commissioner Salama.
Aye.
Commissioner Rhodes.
Aye.
Commissioner O'Connor.
Aye.
Commissioner Locke. Commissioner Beebe.
Aye.
Okay, the meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everyone, and have a good evening.